Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you all to the 8th module of the MOOC on Creative Writing. The name of the module is Writing for Media, where we shall be discussing about the different aspects of media. I shall be discussing on writing feature. Towards the end of this video, you will be able to define what exactly is feature writing. You will be able to distinguish feature with news writing. You will be able to analyze some of the common types of features and the characteristics of a good feature. Besides, you will be also able to explain the structure of a feature and finally look at some of the important steps or important points on how to write a good feature. Now, feature writing is a type of journalistic writing that focuses on in-depth exploration of a particular subject, event, or person. Unlike hard news articles, which are typically brief and focused on immediate factual information, feature writing allows for a more creative, detailed, and often more personal approach. It aims to inform, entertain, and engage readers by providing a deeper understanding of the topic. Now let us look at the important characteristics of feature writing. The first important characteristic is human interest. Feature articles often explore the human side of a story, focusing on people, emotions, or experiences that resonate with readers. And these stories can be inspiring, heartwarming, or even tragic. The second important characteristic of a feature writing is descriptive and narrative. Feature writers use descriptive language and storytelling techniques to draw the readers in. The narrative structure allows the writer to present the topic in a more engaging and comprehensive manner, often providing background and context. The third important characteristic of a good feature writing is in-depth research. Feature writing typically involves extensive research, interviews, and background information. It offers a detailed look at a subject, often exploring multiple perspectives and providing a deeper context that isn't present in hard news reports. Fourth important characteristic is varied topics. Feature articles can cover a wide range of topics, including lifestyle, culture, travel, health, science, profiles of interesting people, and many more. They are not limited to current events or breaking news. The fifth most important characteristic of a feature writing is the length. Feature articles tend to be longer than news stories. They allow for more space to explore the topic in detail, often ranging from 1,000 to 3,000 words or more, depending on the publication. Then another important characteristic of a feature is engaging lead. The lead of a feature article is often more creative than that of a news story. It may include anecdotes, quotes, or intriguing hooks to capture the reader's attention. Then the seventh most important characteristic of a feature article is balanced and fair. While feature writing can be more subjective than hard news reporting, it still requires balance and fairness, particularly while presenting conflicting viewpoints or sensitive topics. Then lastly, the important characteristics of a feature article is the tone of it. The tone of a feature article can vary widely depending on the topic and the publication. It can be serious, it can be humorous, it can be inspirational, or even light-hearted. Now let us look at an example of a feature article. Suppose you want to write a feature exploring the life of a local artist. How are you going to do that? You are going to look into the creative process of it. You are going to look at the struggle of the local artist. You are going to unearth some personal details about him or her. Maybe you might go for interviews with the artist and those associated with him or her. So after collecting the relevant data, you might compose it and write a feature on it. And at the end of preparing the particular feature article, It would provide the readers with a deeper understanding of the artist's life and work beyond what a typical news story would. Because, in a typical news story, we usually follow the format of 5W and 1H. But in case of feature article, we go beyond that. We try to unearth few more instances of the history of the life of a particular person or a particular event on which we are writing a particular news story. Now, moving on, what are the basic differences between a feature article and a news writing? Now, feature writing and news writing, they are both forms of journalism, but they differ significantly in terms of purpose, in terms of style, in terms of structure and depth of coverage. So, as far as purpose is concerned, in case of news writing, the primary purpose of news writing is to provide timely, factual and concise information about a specific event or issue. But in case of feature writing, the purpose is to explore and analyze a subject in greater depth. In fact, features often go beyond just the facts and tell a story, offering a richer, more nuanced view. Now, the second point of differentiation is that of structure. News articles typically follow the inverted pyramid structure, where the more important information is presented at the beginning, followed by supporting details and the less important information towards the end of it. Features have more flexibility in structure. They don't follow the inverted pyramid and may have an anecdotal lead or descriptive opening to grab the reader's attention. The article is often organized in a way that flows more like a story, sometimes with subheadings, narrative sections, and background information woven in throughout. The third difference between a feature writing and a news writing is in terms of the length of it. News articles, they tend to be short and to the point. They generally range from 300 to 800 words, focusing only on the most relevant details and omitting unnecessary context or extra information. But feature articles, they are typically much longer, ranging from 1000 to 3000 words or even more than that. They allow for a deeper exploration of the topic and provide more room for storytelling, for interviews and detailed background. Fourth important point of differentiation is in the context of the tone of it. The tone of news writing is objective. It is neutral and factual. Journalists, they avoid inserting personal opinions, emotional language or bias, focusing on presenting the facts as clearly as possible. But feature writing can adopt a more subjective, a more descriptive and personal tone. The writer may use creative language, humor, or emotion to engage the reader and add color to the story. The fifth most important point of differentiation between news writing and feature writing is that news writing focuses on current events and is very time sensitive. But features are less time sensitive. They can cover events, people, trends, or topics that don't need immediate coverage. Sixth important point of differentiation is in the context of depth of coverage. Now, news articles, they focus on delivering the who, what, when, where, why and how in a succinct manner. The emphasis is on the facts, and while some context may be included, there is very less room for exploration or analysis. However, features offer deeper exploration of a subject, providing extensive context, background, human interest elements, interviews, and sometimes multiple perspectives. The story is often told in a narrative form, giving readers a fuller understanding of the topic. The seventh important point of differentiation is in the context of audience engagement. News writing aims to convey the facts quickly and clearly, often appealing to an audience looking for immediate information. But Feature writing often aims to engage the reader more deeply using storytelling, emotion, and vivid descriptions. As such, features tend to offer more opportunities for reader connection and emotional involvement. Suppose let's take an example to show the difference between a news writing and a feature writing. In case of news writing, you want to report a news on a breaking news story is there about a fire at a local apartment building, providing details about the event, the number of casualties that have taken place, and emergency response efforts. But in case of feature writing, a profile of the firefighter who saved their lives in the fire, telling their personal story, their background information, the motivation, experiences in a narrative style. This is how a story is written, whether it is in a form of news writing story or in the form of feature writing. This is the basic difference. Now, moving on, feature writing is a type of journalistic writing that actually focuses on in-depth exploration of a particular subject, event, or person. Unlike hard news stories, which are typically brief and focused on immediate factual information, feature writing allows for a more creative, detailed, and often more personal approach. Now let us try to look at some of the common types of features. First one is a profile feature. So from the name itself, we can understand that profile feature, it focuses on an individual, often someone who is very interesting, who is influential or unique. In fact, it explores their background, their personality, their achievements and life story in depth. For example, you want to write on the profile of a local artist. So definitely you will have to go into background information, how he or she has evolved over a period of few years, about their journey, their success and failures, and so on and so forth. The second important type of feature article is how to feature. Now, how to feature, here what happens is it provides step-by-step instructions or advice on how to do something. In fact, it aims to teach the readers a skill or a process. For example, you write a feature on how to start a garden. So definitely in this particular feature article, you will give a brief detail of what are the tools required for gardening, what are the important plants you can look for, what are the flowers you can look for gardening, and so on and so forth. The third important type of feature is a trend feature, which focuses on a current or emerging trend, exploring its popularity, its origins and impact. And these features often analyze how the trend is affecting the society, how it is affecting the culture or specific industries. The fourth important type of feature is a human interest feature. Basically, human interest feature, it tells a compelling or emotional story that appeals to the reader's emotions. And these features often involve individuals or communities overcoming obstacles, achieving extraordinary feats, or experiencing meaningful events. For example, you want to write a feature article on a particular person's fight against cancer. Suppose the title heading of the particular feature article is "A Local Teacher's Fight Against Cancer." In this article, probably you're going to delve into the personal history of the concerned teacher, his or her struggle against the fight against cancer, the outpouring of grief. So all these factors can be covered. This actually consists of human interest feature. Then we have narrative feature. Narrative feature, it tells a story in a narrative form, often with a beginning, middle, and end. The story may be about a person, an event, or phenomenon, and is written in a compelling, engaging manner. For example, suppose you want to write a feature article on some endangered species, and maybe you might name that particular article as a rescue mission to save endangered wildlife. So in that particular article, you might want to look into the reasons why it's an endangered species, or why it's considered to be endangered wildlife, what steps have been taken to protect it, what we need to look for in the near future. So all these aspects can be covered in a narrative feature. Then we have investigative feature. Investigative feature involves in-depth research into a specific topic, uncovering facts, details, or stories that were previously hidden or unknown. And these features often expose issues, injustices, or problems that require attention. For instance, like maybe you want to unearth some information about corruption taking place in some local government office or whatever. Then the heading of the particular feature article is maybe corruption in local government. So you might interview a few people associated with that local government, some associates. You might deep dive into to unearth some other information which the public doesn't know. So that is a kind of investigative feature. You want to uncover some facts, you want to uncover some other details or stories which are previously hidden or it's not been exposed. Then travel feature. Travel feature focuses on a destination, providing detailed information about the place, its culture, history, attractions, and people. It often includes personal experiences, recommendations, and insights for travelers. Then we have lifestyle feature. It covers various aspects of daily life, from health and fitness to home decor, relationships, and work-life balance. Such kind of features provide advice, tips, or ideas for improving one's lifestyle. Then we have event feature. So from the term itself, we can make out it focuses on a specific event, such as a festival, conference, concert, or significant public event. It may cover the lead up, the experience, and the aftermath, often offering personal insights or interviews with key participants. Suppose you're reporting on the Sundance Film Festival, okay, or maybe the Goa International Film Festival. That is a part of the event. You are covering the event. You are in the particular feature article. You are trying to highlight who are the organizers of the particular festival, what led to the opening up of the particular film festival. Okay, so certain personal insights into it. Maybe you have taken some interviews of a renowned filmmakers, of other renowned personalities associated with the film festival. So you want to highlight it. That's a type of a event feature. Then we have opinion or commentary feature. This particular feature, it offers a writer's perspective, analysis, or critique on a current issue, trend, or event. And these features often reflect personal opinions but are backed up with facts, reasoning, and examples. We also have what is known as explanatory feature. Now this aims to explain a very complex concept, event, or topic in a very clear and concise manner. It may break down the science behind a phenomenon, the history of a subject, or the mechanics of a process. That is what explanatory feature is all about. Then we have what is known as listicle feature. Now listicle feature, it presents information in a list format, often in a very fun and easily digestible way. It can cover a wide range of topics and are highly shareable. Suppose you want to write a feature article on the top 10 travel destinations for 2025. Then you're going to probably go for surveys. Maybe you will take up some secondary data sources to come up with the top 10 travel destinations for the year 2025. You want to list those places. You might highlight the importance of the places, why those places are counted among the top 10 travel destinations. So that is listicle. You're listing them. Then we have photo feature. Photo feature focuses on a series of photographs, often accompanied by minimal text or captions. And these features tell a story visually, capturing moments, people, or places in a powerful way. Basically, in photo feature, the focus is on the pictures, on the photographs, rather than the write-up. As we say, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So, and as far as photo feature is concerned, since emphasis is on the photo, so a careful selection of the photo, a careful selection of the photo is very important here in this regard, and a lot depends on the creativity of the photographer. Then we have product or service feature. Now this particular feature, it provides an in-depth review or feature of a product or service. It goes beyond a basic review by exploring the product's development, its impact on users, or its significance in the. So far we have tried to understand what is a feature writing, what are the important characteristics of feature writing, what are the basic different types of features. Now we are going to deep dive into the different characteristics of features. As already talked about, since we have already discussed about, when we talk about the characteristics of a good feature, we have already said it needs to have a engaging lead. Okay, it needs to be very much focused, and there should be a particular purpose in writing a good feature. It should be very well researched. It should be very much a good informative article, a news story should be there. It should have a very strong structure as well, because a good feature has a logical flow. It usually has a clear introduction. It has a very clear body as well as conclusion with smooth transitions between sections. And unlike news articles, which often use an inverted pyramid style, features, they may use a more narrative or thematic structure to build up to the conclusion. And as already talked about, a good feature needs to has a very clear focus in it. It has to have a central theme or message that ties everything together. And features also require thorough research, and this includes gathering background information, interviewing relevant people, and providing factual accuracy. Then comes a compelling storytelling. Features often use storytelling techniques to make the subject matter more engaging. And this could involve a narrative structure with a beginning, a middle, and end, or using descriptive language to paint a vivid picture. Then a human interest angle. Many features focus on people, whether it's about the experiences, whether it's about their struggles, whether it's about the achievements or perspectives. Good features connect with the reader on a human level, making them care about the subject and its relevance. And then, of course, there has to be some kind of balance between objectivity and subjectivity. While features can be more subjective than straight news writing, they should still maintain a level of objectivity when presenting the facts. So, these are some of the very key characteristics of a good feature. Now, let us come to the structure of a feature. The structure of a feature article is more flexible than that of a traditional news article, allowing for creative storytelling and deeper exploration of a topic. However, it still follows a general framework that helps to organize the content and ensure that the article flows smoothly. Now, while constructing a feature article, what we need to look into? First, we have the headline or the title. The headline is the first impression of the feature and needs to be attention-grabbing. It should hint at the main theme of the article, entice curiosity, and provide a glimpse of what the reader can expect. Second important aspect while constructing a feature article is the lead or the opening paragraph. The lead is crucial because it sets the tone for the article and hooks the reader's attention. In feature writing, leads can be more creative and engaging than in news writing. Of course, there are different types of leads. We have anecdotal lead, there is descriptive lead, there is question lead, there is quote lead, and so on and so forth. Then we have the nut graph. The nut graph is a critical part of the feature and typically follows the lead. This explains the main point or purpose of the story and provides the reader with a context or significance of the feature. It answers the so what question, why the story is important or interesting. The fourth important part of a feature article is the body or the main content. The body is where the bulk of the feature article is developed. It contains the details, the background information, and key points that the writer wants to convey. And this section can be broken down into several paragraphs and often follows a narrative structure. So the body may include the personal stories or anecdotes. It might include interviews. It may include explanations or analysis or other descriptive language. Then we have subheadings. Of course, these are optional. It's not that you have to compulsory incorporate subheadings within a feature article. In longer features, what happens is that subheadings can be used to break up the content and make it easier for the reader to follow. Such subheadings, it serves as signposts for different sections of the article and often highlight specific aspects of the story. Then finally, conclusion. The conclusion wraps up the story and often offers a reflective or insightful ending. So these are the basic points or you need to look into while constructing a particular feature story, a feature article. This is a proper structure that you need to look into. Then of course, besides this, there is the byline which indicates like who wrote the feature article, and the byline usually appears before the headline or at the end of the article. Then if need be, you can incorporate certain photos or graphics also, which is optional of course, to complement the text. And this visual elements, it helps the story, it provides context and engage the readers in a more dynamic way. So far we have tried to understand, we have tried to analyze what exactly is a feature article, what is a feature, what differentiates a feature from a news story, what are the different characteristics of a feature article, what are the types of features, okay, and what is the structure of a feature. Now, while recapitulating the structure of a feature, what we need to look into are the headline. We have the lead. There is a nut graph. We need to look into the body of it, which is the main content. Then you might include subheadings, which is also optional. Then there is a conclusion part, and of course byline, which identifies the author of the feature. Then you might also include photos or graphics, which is also of course optional. Then now let us try to come to another important part of today's discussion, is that on how to write a good feature. What are the important tips or what are the important points you need to keep in mind to write a good feature? Writing a good feature article, it requires a mix of engaging storytelling, thorough research, and a clear structure. The first important point you need to keep in mind is choosing a strong angle. A feature article, it should focus on a specific angle or unique perspective. Instead of writing broadly about a topic, try to find a fresh and very intriguing angle that captures the interest of the readers. Second important point you need to think about is start with a hook. Your opening paragraph should grab the reader's attention. Suppose you can use an anecdote, maybe a short engaging story, while beginning your feature article. You might begin with a provocative question also. You might begin with a surprising fact or statistics. So there are different ways by which you can engage the readers. Third important tip is, or third important point you should try to look into is research thoroughly. A feature is more than just an opinion piece. It requires depth and credibility. You need to conduct interviews. You need to gather facts and provide evidence to support your story. The fourth important point that you need to look into is using a narrative style. Unlike hard news, a feature allows for a more creative and engaging tone. Try to make use of storytelling techniques like providing a vivid description, maybe development of a character if it is relevant to your story, provide dialogue to it. Fifth most important point that you need to keep in mind, or important tip to write a good feature article, is structure it well. A good feature typically follows this particular structure. Introduction, there will be the body, and there will be the conclusion. You don't need to put some other extra information until and unless the situation demands. Keep it very simple, keep it very precise, keep it very concise. Then, sixth important tip to write a good feature article is use descriptive language and real-life experiences or examples to paint a picture rather than just stating the facts. 7 important point is keep the reader engaged. Try to make use of varied sentence lengths for rhythm. Keep the paragraphs very short for readable purposes. And maintain a conversational but informative tone in the way you write. And last and most important point is editing and proofreading. Great writing is rewriting. Try to edit your write-up for clarity, for grammar and for flow. Delete those unnecessary details and make sure every sentence adds value. So finally, we have come towards the end of this video lecture. In this particular video, we have tried to analyze the definition of feature writing, what distinguishes a feature from news writing. We have also tried to look into some of the common types of features and the characteristics of a good feature. We have even tried to explain the structure of a feature and to carefully analyze some of the tips to write a good feature. I hope you were able to deep dive into the art of feature writing after going through some of the key points. Thank you.